So let's talk about this one. VJ Edgecombe, Tre Johnson, Ben Saraf, Jase Richardson, and Labaron Philon, who I love. Will Riley, Kam Jones, Isaiah Evans, Dink Pate, Chaz Lanier. I think that's a solid crop. We'll start on VJ Edgecombe. I'd say he's a cross of, he's got like Victor Oladipo-esque athleticism, but needs to work on the left hand. And he has, however, more of an offensive game akin to Cason Wallace in terms of it being a combo guard with point guard like skills. Dude, this guy is so much fun. Like, I just don't think you understand like how fun it is to watch a guy who can dunk the basketball, create for others, and he's coming from a system like Baylor that he's going to be defending. So that's why I have here, as part of my, as I showed you guys, number one, VJ coming in with Trey, then Ben, Jace, Labaron, Will, Kam, Isaiah, Dink, and Chaz as the top 10. And I just think, yeah, like you look at VJ with that Victor Oladipo-esque athleticism and the point guard skills without a left hand akin to Cason Wallace. I think you're hoping that he's going to be able to go to a team like the Pelicans, which everybody expects, but be a day one, I think, help on the perimeter defensively. Offensively, you're going to wait because of what this Bohemian prospect can do. He just jumps off the screen with the athleticism, the defensive energy. Coming out of a school like Baylor is huge because he plays with a nonstop motor. He knows how to read team offenses. He'll lock down his opponents. They won't attack him on closeouts. He's going to be a point of attack defender who's an all-defensive team member perennially. And the shot creation is showing there. If his left hand and just handle and ability to dribble, penetrate, and play make for himself and others develop, this guy's going to be a two-way nightmare, and I don't know how you solve him. So, or how you stop him. Like, he's going to be a guy who has all-star potential. It could be like the top 3 player in this class. Trey Johnson, people have said, is the 6'5", 6'6" version of Cam Thomas. I understand that. I think he's maybe a little bit more Alec Burks with more scoring, with more athleticism, but the 3-level scoring ability. Yes, he has tunnel vision, but he's just got such a repertoire offensively. He'll get buckets, and yeah, he's not like an elite athlete. I think maybe like a Terrence Ross type athlete, which I think is still great. I think what you want, I'm not worried about him becoming a playmaker. Maybe just pass the ball and not be like a ton, getting tunnel vision all the time, but just try on defense a bit more and be able to be someone who's going to not only score points, but help the team win. Like, know how to go from scorer to Malik Beasley, if that makes sense. And I think Malik, it took him a while to figure that out, and that's where, what I mean by that is go from being a guy who shoots to being a guy who helps your team win a game because of your shooting. And he's shown the ability to be an on-ball scorer, and he's shown he can be an off-ball scorer, but it's be a more willing off-ball scorer who already can thrive in catch and shoot scenarios as he's a confident on-ball pull-up threat. It's just also adding strength, but I think ironing out those kinks are the biggest thing. But like it's there. You want to run with it. So I like it for those reasons, and I think a lot of other people do too. So Ben Saraf, I think he's more of a combo guard. He says his inspiration is Vasilije Micic. I love Ozzy Micic. He's taller. He's like 6'5", 6'6". He's got the creative scoring ability and playmaking to be kind of like a Vazi Goran Dragic mix, and he's got like a great handle, can pull out dribble moves you don't even see regularly, and he'll break defenses off with his dribble and can score off the bounce and pass off of like with live dribble passes. I think his consistency as an outside shooter and of course an on-ball defender are going to be like the things that keep him from being a guy who's going to win an MVP in Europe or being, you know, a starter in the league like Goran Dragic, who can maybe be like an all-star, fringe all-star. But the creativity as a scorer and the smooth handles with the passing ability, I think are awesome. He's got a feel for the game, can run an offense and slide into the off ball. Just figure out if that's going to translate to the NBA or not, man. You know, it's a big if, but if it does, like, you got a guy who can be a backup. I think the Miami Heat are a great fit. Jase Richardson, people are going to be like, well, could Jase be better? I think Jase is kind of like an Eric Gordon, son of Jason Richardson. And he's got all the tools you want. He might even go earlier than Ben Saraf. I think his ceiling isn't as high. I think best case scenario, he's high teens, maybe a 20-point scorer on either a bad team or a superstar team where he's in an Eric Gordon role next to like James Harden or Eric Gordon in the Pelicans, on the Pelicans. And he's like more of a below the rim player. They're not saying he's unathletic, but it's not his dad, let me tell you that. But he can be a secondary passer. He's an undersized 2-guard with some point guard abilities, but he's really a smooth operator, plays really good defense, got a great jumper, got a good handle, crafty, plays technical, kind of a smaller Dante DiVincenzo if you want another comparison. So I think he's somebody who's going to have a good career. There's some kinks that need to be ironed out. Labaron Philon. I love Labaron. This guy, physically, you're going to be reminded of Emmanuel quickly. But game-wise, this is a guy, 11 points, 3.5 rebounds, 1.5 steals, just a dog defensively. He's just going to come at you like a hound. Just a lengthy two-way guard who's got a huge wingspan. He's going to be a point of attack defender who's going to disrupt people. He can play the 1 or the 2. Gets downhill. He'll attack. He can catch fire from deep. And I think the whole thing is like he's either going to be a really good like backup point guard and maybe like a Chris Dunn once he fills out, or he's going to be able to kind of be like the defensive player with two-way ability to kind of follow an offensive game like Emmanuel quickly. I think is like I'm going to give him that comp. So he's someone that I really think that is going to be fine and fun. And yeah, so I wonder with that one if you guys agree with that. Also, Kingsley, who are you wondering 6'5"? So let's go ahead and move to the next guy. And that's going to be our boy. This is a guy that I'm not as high on, but I know people from Canada are huge on this guy. 6'8" Will Riley. I think he's just kind of a slasher. He's a 2-guard. He's supposed to be a 6'8" point guard. He's hard to, like, dude, defenses have trouble, covering him on closeouts because of that 6'8" frame. He moves well without the ball. He can dribble. He's got like point guard background, and he can finish through contact. I think people look at him or being like, "Oh, he could be the poor man, cheap J-Dub," and I'm so like, he's skinny. He's gonna need some time. I really think his game, if it does come together, he might end up having to be more of a Nickeil Alexander-Walker than trying to be like J-Dub, which I think is being a shot creator who has like the size of a guard or the size of a wing, has guard ability and a smooth jumper. I just think people wanted him to be a point guard when he doesn't really have the floor general abilities. He's just like not a physical player. You just need to develop the shot creativity and the physicality. I just think he's a project that has all the tools to be fun. I just don't want to be the one who figures it out if I'm an NBA team. Kam Jones, dude, this guy's going to get could be the AJ Mitchell of this draft class. Somebody's going to bring in Tyler Kolek's back up or replace. He's Tyler Kolek's like Robin. Then he became Batman and he was able to do it all. Had a great season. And to me, I think he's going to be someone that a team that needs a microwave who can create playoff ball and be a facilitator are going to love. He can score at all 3 levels. He's like 6'5". He can maybe even be a small ball wing like Kent Bazemore, but the ability to score off the dribble, off the catch, pass live dribbles, start a fast break, but as a microwave bench option that the hope is that he can be good enough defensively. I'm taking that bet with this kid. He's fun. He's fun and I enjoy him. So I want to hear your guys' thoughts on that one. Now let's talk about Mr. Isaiah Evans, who is a candidate for being one of the best shooters in this draft. He's got a range. He's lanky. He's a wing who's a swing man. He's also a guy who's a willing defender. He barely played, but he put up buckets. He uses his size to contest shots regularly, but he can catch fire. I saw him hit so many threes against Miami. Obviously, he needs to get bigger. I think anybody who sees him is going to be like, he needs to get better. But, like, dude, this guy who was, like, what, hitting 7 threes? Not 7 threes, but, like, insane. I think if you look at his 36 numbers, it was an insane amount of threes. And to me, he was someone that I really enjoyed watching in college as the season went on and he got more confident. Per 40, he was putting up 12 3-point attempts and he was making 5 of them a game. That is absurd numbers. Absurd numbers. This kid is going to be good. I think, like, in terms of long career, just being a 3-and-D guy. Dink Pate, I think people thought was going to be like the Trey Murphy prospect of this draft class, the way we look at Carter Bryant. But I think the biggest thing is it just hasn't came together. And I don't mean to be rude. In like 2 years, like, still, like, his per 36, he's like he's not the microwave that you want, and he takes too many shots inside, and he needs to be more of an outside creator, and he isn't good enough of a scorer inside. So I think that's the biggest thing for me with him, is that he just needs to get better at creating his shot, because for the most part, he does it inefficiently, and he doesn't provide you much outside of that. But he's 6'8", like, you like the thought of that in theory. So, and then Chaz Lanier. Chaz Lanier is an absolute animal when it comes to shooting. He was able to leave North Florida and show that it wasn't a fluke and continue to be one of the best scorers in college basketball. And we're talking about a guy that is 6'4", 175 pounds. He went from putting up 7.5 threes at North Florida to 8.5 this year. Slight little drop, but per 40, he's putting up 10.5 threes a game. He's someone that is a volume shooter, and that's a skill that's going to be always beloved in the NBA. Now, let's move over to the final one, which is, of course, the point guards. So, our little editor's note right here. When I made this list a week ago, Sergio Diez was still in the draft. He is not. So, let's get to it. So, Dylan Harper, Casp Yakunis, Jeremiah Fears, Yago Demon, Nolan Trapp, Boogie Flynn, Walter Clayton Jr., Sergio Diez, Tyrese Proctor, and Mark Sears are my top 10 point guard position. So, I think when you look at this draft, the black left-handed, I don't know why I said black, but like I was going to say Cade Cunningham is the black Luka Doncic and Dylan Harper is the left-handed Cade Cunningham. My brain farted right there. So put it in that order. If originally, I think Shagun's passed Sabonis, but for a while they were saying it was Jokic, Sabonis, Shagun. I think this really could be Doncic, Cade Cunningham, Harper, in terms of guys who have the potential to be pretty freaking solid. I love his game. He plays slow, fast. He can create. I think he's a guy who could surprise people and end up being better than Cooper Flagg. He has that downhill ability, draws fouls. He's got NBA size. He can be a pick and roll ball handler. He can score off the pick and roll. He's got the ability to use his body to draw defenders and finish through contact. He's got the pull-up game, everything you want, and he's a willing defender. I think the kid can be really good. Now, next up is Casp Yakunis, who I talked with somebody, and, you know, kind of like a Tyrese Halliburton-esque guard. He can play on or off ball. He's a high IQ player from Lithuania. He's got this hard grit and just sees passing angles that few players his age do. He controls pace, protects the ball when he's on fire, and then he'll lose the ball. He loses the ball sometimes and turns the ball over when he struggles a lot. But when he's on fire, he's like damn near unstoppable. Yeah, he technically lacks the burst, but I think his size and his ability to be like a creator is what you makes up for him being not the best of a shooter. So, or not shooter, of a ball protector. Like, he turns the ball over. I think the ball, like, something you'll notice is like his assist to turnover ratio is rough. It's really rough, but can score, rebound. I really just see, like, he screams one or two, you're going to develop. At worst case worst, you got a guy who can either be all-star potential or a really good player off the bench. Jeremiah Fears, the one that people said, oh, Monte Ellis, Jamal Murray hybrid. And I like him. I think he's someone that could be really good. And he's got the point guard skills. Got a little bit more, I think, combo guard game. But I think you're going to try to develop him first as a point guard, due to the fact that he brings the speed, the shifty ball handling, and the fearlessness that you want scoring-wise. And he's great behind the arc. And he flashes the ability to be, you know, a lead guard. I think worst comes to worst, if the shooting comes around and he doesn't pan out as a point guard, he's someone that, with being, if he does become a better defender, he can be a microwave off the bench who can score for you in bunches and isn't like an absolute cone. I just think, is the shot going to be there? I don't think he's as like athletic as Monte Ellis is, but I think he's damn near a good player and someone that I would bet is going to figure it out. So just keep an eye out for him. And I think he's just somebody that I would definitely say has a really high ceiling. Not as high as this guy. Yagor Demon is someone that I would definitely go ahead and put together a huge reel. Show him what he could do at Real Madrid. Show him what he could do at BYU. The shot could not fall at BYU. It looked better overseas than it did here. He's a jumbo guard. He's someone that, look, if it all comes together, he's a more athletic, you know, Josh Giddey. All right. He's got that Josh Giddey, Ben Simmons passing ability. Not as athletic as Ben Simmons, but he can dissect defenses. He can run point. He's like 6'10". He's the penultimate high reward, high risk player. He just couldn't hit the right side of a barn, and it was really weird because he was also not able to find a shot. Like, he can initiate offense, he can orchestrate the half court set, and he has the dribble decision making to do it all. It's just when it comes to him shooting, he's inept at it, and I don't know why he's shot so anemic, but you know, I think that's something that's workable. Nolan Trapp, I had someone say that this guy is like similar to Killian Hayes. He got better over the year. He shot well. Like, he can be physical and aggressive, and he surprised a lot of people last year. Throughout the season, he had some growing pains. He ended the year really like a shot falling, and he has the crafty and poise and the pick and roll ball handling ability to figure it out. I think he is like Killian Hayes, Jamal Murray hybrid, where like he could be a guy that ends up being like a two guard who can play on or off ball. It's just like he offers little like upside as a defender, and he's kind of a risky pick because he may never be more than just a spot starter and a solid backup, maybe along the lines of a Corey Joseph. And that's like not a bad career. That's fine. It's just maybe somebody that you want to draft at the end of the first or later. I'd rather have Boogie Flynn, who I think could be like the Rob Dillingham of this draft class. He is just so much fun to watch. A great shot. He ended up getting hurt, so that's why he didn't play as many games. But 13 points. The shot when he came back wasn't as good, but the slipperiness he has in his game to play on or off ball. Yeah, I know he's only like 6'2", and he's just someone who's going to at least be a microwave shooter off the bench. He's got quick twitch ability and can score at all three levels. He's just got to show that he can defend, stay healthy, and be a bit more of a creator for his teammates. Now, next up, we have ourselves a guy that I think is like, if you put Freddie VanVleet and Mr. Patty Mills in a lab, you get yourself this guy who's a seasoned, tough guy like Fred VanVleet, but he has the ability to play as an undersized two guard or be a one like Patty Mills, who plays on or off the ball. He'll hit his pull-ups. He'll defend, bigger guards than him. He's a plug-and-play backcourt piece for me, especially a team that needs a backup point guard. I would go ahead and get him because I think he's just someone that I would just really, really, really enjoy seeing contending team. Like we've talked about it before, who's a team that needs a backup point guard, and that is the Denver Nuggets. And he's someone that could help their backup point guard woes. And another one, the Miami Heat, if they were, like, let's say, to trade back, they could go and get a guy like Walter Clayton. I think he's a tough combo guard with point guard like skills. And best case scenario, dude, this is a guy who could develop like Fred VanVleet and just be a steal for somebody. I really do like the potential of Walter Clayton Jr., which is a great story too. Sergio de la Rea, he's a bit skinny playing for Valencia. He's gotten better as the season's gone on, in my opinion. 6'6", I believe. Some people have put 6'4" or 6'5", but 6 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists a game. And to me, I think that he's somebody that it's a bit of a flyer. You're going to want to take him either as a draft or stash, but he's tall enough to see where the defense is. He's a bomber. He's a willing shooter. He makes great reads. He plays with this stoic, calm demeanor. And obviously the defense and the consistency is something you want to see more, but he's a guy who could be a 6'6" 3-point shooting point guard that everybody wants, or worst comes worst, he's a secondary playmaker, and you're cool with that. So let's talk about the last two. And the next one is Tyrese Proctor, who could be this like great pick and roll orchestrator, who's a defender that guards 1 and 2, basically maybe like a poor man's Dyson Daniels. He's a guy who can go ahead and be a catch and shoot 3-point shooter who's great this year for Duke. And I think he's somebody that I really just enjoy what he's been able to do as he finds teammates, defends 1, 2s, and 3s. The jump shot's a bit shaky, but almost 6'6", 6'4", 6'5" I've seen. He's tall enough to play multiple positions, and I think he's a plug and play. If you need a backup point guard who's going to be a bit of an older player who's going to be a pro, I think this is the guy you go for. And then the Marcus Sasser, Jamal Shed of this class is Mark Sears. He's an efficient bucket getter who's tough-nosed. He's got a decent first step. He isn't going to be your primary facilitator or scorer, but he's a willing passer. He's got the toughness, the ability to defend multiple positions, aka just both backcourt spots. He is a little undersized, but I think he could carve out a career as a bench player. So that's right there, my point guards. And yeah, so let me hear your thoughts on that one. Now, look, do we do the sleepers right here or no? I think we could do the sleepers, and then we'll like chill out, I think is the best way to put it, or wrap up this stream. So let's go ahead and do the last couple that I think